Hello, esteemed gentlemen. You don't need more money. You need fewer stupid decisions. That line alone has saved more men from financial disaster than any guru selling dreams on TikTok. Now here's the part nobody likes to admit. The average person spends 130% of their income. Yes, you read that right. Most people aren't just broke. They're borrowing money to look rich. Welcome to the modern circus where flexing is mandatory, debt is normalized, and everyone's silently drowning while smiling for Instagram. But then there's the Sigma male, the guy who walks right past all the noise like he's got cheat codes to life. He doesn't live above his means, not because he's afraid, but because he knows something most people don't. Wealth isn't about what you show. It's about what you can walk away from. He's not cutting coupons or living in scarcity. He's just playing a higher-level game that doesn't require a rented lifestyle or applause from strangers. While others are broke trying to look like winners, he's quietly building an empire behind the scenes. And in this video, we're breaking down 20 brutally honest reasons why Sigma males don't fall into the overspending trap. Not because they're minimalists, but because they're strategic as hell. Let's get into it. But warning, this may ruin your desire to impress anyone ever again. Number 1. Debt is just a fancy word for voluntary enslavement. Sigma males don't play with debt because to them it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's psychological bondage disguised as convenience. When most people hear monthly payments, they think of a lifestyle upgrade. When a Sigma hears it, he hears the sound of a collar snapping around someone's neck. It doesn't matter how sleek the car is or how big the house looks. If it comes with chains, it's not wealth, it's a trap with tinted windows. See, most people treat debt like it's normal. They casually finance things they can't actually afford just to keep up with people they don't even like. But a Sigma sees right through that illusion. He knows the moment you start relying on borrowed money to fund your image, you've already lost your power. You no longer make decisions from freedom. You make them from obligation. That's not living, that's being leased. It's not that Sigma males are afraid of using credit. It's that they refuse to become dependent on it. They don't think short-term dopamine hits are worth long-term stress. Buying something you can't truly afford just because you deserve it isn't self-love. It's emotional manipulation pushed by marketing. And Sigmas are immune to that kind of nonsense. They know discipline is freedom, and patience pays in ways luxury never will. While others brag about financing their lifestyle to build credit, Sigmas are busy building cash flow. They understand that the world respects people who own things, not people who owe for them. A Sigma would rather drive a modest car that's fully his than a flashy one that owns him. Because to him, peace of mind is the real flex, not designer stress with interest. And here's the real truth. The person who controls your debt controls your decisions. Banks, bosses, even your own family can dangle that over you if you're living above your means. Sigmas avoid that at all costs. They live in a way that allows them to say no to anyone, walk away from anything, and never have to kiss ass to keep their head above water. Debt makes most people quiet when they should be bold. But Sigmas don't bow, they build. Number 2, they've watched rich people beg in private. Sigma males have seen the side of wealth most people don't talk about, the ugly, desperate side that hides behind luxury cars and polished LinkedIn profiles. They've watched influencers post designer outfits and lavish vacations, only to quietly slide into someone's DMs asking for a loan when the algorithm stops favoring them. They've seen high-value men melt down behind closed doors when one bad month wrecks their over-leveraged lifestyle, and that's exactly why Sigmas never get hypnotized by someone's highlight reel. They know the truth. Most people flaunting wealth are performing, not thriving. The big house is mortgaged to the ceiling. The Rolex was financed. The lifestyle is a ticking time bomb wrapped in smiles and filters. Sigma males pay attention to what people don't say. The silence when rent is due, the anxiety behind the smile, the panic under the poker face, that's the stuff they take notes on. While others chase clout, Sigmas chase insulation. They prepare for storms that most people pretend won't happen. They don't care how rich someone looks. They want to know how well that person can handle a crisis when the money stops flowing. Can you survive a 6-month drought with no income? Or will your fake lifestyle collapse like a Jenga tower? Sigma males already know the answer, because they've seen it happen. They've learned from other people's silent failures, and they refuse to play the same game. They live below their means, not because they lack ambition, but because they understand how fragile fake wealth really is. They'd rather stack quiet reserves than broadcast temporary success. They don't need to prove they're doing well. They'd rather be solid in private than look impressive in public and crumble in secret. At the end of the day, Sigma males treat financial security like survival, not performance. They're not interested in being envied today if it means being exposed tomorrow. They've watched too many peacocks turn into pigeons the moment pressure hits. That's why they play a different game. No theatrics, no financial house of cards, just quiet power built to outlast every trend, every flex, and every facade. Number 3, they know the system is rigged for flashy slaves. Sigma males see right through the smoke and mirrors of modern consumer culture. They know the system isn't designed to reward intelligence. It's built to exploit emotional insecurity. The loudest people, the flashiest dresses, the ones constantly upgrading everything, they're not winning. They're performing on a financial hamster wheel, running faster just to stay afloat, while the system quietly bleeds them dry. Sigma males don't play that game. They study it, decode it, and flip the script. They've figured out that overspending isn't a sign of success. It's a distraction from how trapped you really are. The flashy lifestyle comes with invisible handcuffs. Credit card debt, social pressure, burnout from trying to maintain the image. Meanwhile, the people pulling the strings, corporations, lenders, algorithms, are getting rich off your need to keep up. Sigma males would rather keep it simple, stay under the radar, and build real leverage while everyone else chases illusions. They understand that the system doesn't reward frugality because there's no profit in it. You're not supposed to be disciplined. You're supposed to be just insecure enough to click buy now. Sigma males aren't immune to that conditioning. They just don't obey it. They know every ad, every influencer flex, every luxury drop is designed to pull you into a financial coma while selling you the fantasy of freedom. And let's be real. Most people walking around with luxury, everything are one missed paycheck away from collapse. Sigmas don't find that glamorous. They find it pathetic. If you have to spend to be noticed, you're not powerful. You're a well-dressed hostage. That's why Sigmas stay quiet, calculating, and yes, completely unfuckwithable, because when you don't need to flash to feel valuable, you become immune to manipulation. You're no longer a puppet in the system. You're the guy cutting strings. They don't need external validation. They don't seek applause. They don't need to go broke proving they've made it. They just make it, silently, smartly, and on their own damn terms. Number 4, status symbols are just financial handcuffs with logos. Sigma males view status symbols the way a hacker views a flashy firewall, loud, distracting, and ultimately pointless. They know that most of what people parade around as success is just a bill disguised as luxury. That shiny watch, it's not wealth, it's a monthly payment. The leased luxury car, a liability with leather seats. Sigmas don't wear their value because they don't need to prove it to anyone. They'd rather be underestimated with ownership than overhyped with debt. They understand that real wealth is quiet. It doesn't scream from your wrist or beg for attention on social media. It grows silently in bank accounts, in stocks, in assets that appreciate while you sleep. The man who has to flash his money is usually the one who's terrified of losing it. Sigma males know that if your identity is tied to the things you buy, you've already sold your piece. To them, the obsession with status is just a modern form of slavery. You don't own the lifestyle. It owns you. Every upgrade comes with another chain. Higher bills, more pressure, more fear of slipping. Sigmas want none of that. They see it for what it is, an expensive illusion that people cling to because they're too afraid of being ordinary. But Sigmas aren't afraid of being misunderstood. They're afraid of being owned by things. While others chase symbols, Sigmas chase sovereignty. They'd rather invest in something that multiplies quietly than something that shouts loudly and bleeds cash. They think long-term, not loud-term. While the average guy is flexing on a weekend he can't afford, The sigma is stacking assets that will let him walk away from everything, the job, the noise, the fake friends, with zero notice and no panic. It's not about being cheap. It's about refusing to trade freedom for optics. Because at the end of the day, a man who needs logos to feel valuable isn't rich. He's just rented some confidence. And sigma males, they don't rent anything, especially not their self-worth. Number 5. They've seen too many die with Gucci, but no peace. Sigma males have watched too many people destroy themselves trying to live like royalty on a peasant's foundation. They've seen men buy the Gucci belt, the luxury car, the high-rise apartment, only to end up empty, anxious, divorced, and drowning in quiet misery. Because once the flash wears off and the novelty fades, all you're left with is a mountain of payments and a soul that's suffocating under the pressure to keep pretending. To a sigma, peace is non-negotiable. No brand is worth their mental bandwidth. They're not anti-luxury, they're anti-chaos. And most modern lifestyles are exactly that, chaos with a nice aesthetic. The pursuit of appearances has become an addiction, and it's killing people slowly. Sigma males know the cost isn't just financial, it's emotional, spiritual, even physical. High blood pressure for a lifestyle you can't breathe in? No thanks. They've seen the behind-the-scenes footage of people who seem to have it all. The guy with the mansion and model wife who can't sleep without pills. The entrepreneur with the Rolex collection who hasn't had a meaningful conversation in 5 years. The influencer with millions of followers and zero inner peace. Sigma males study these stories like cautionary tales. They're not impressed, they're warned. That's why they live within their means. Not because they lack ambition, but because they know chasing image over substance is the fastest route to burnout. They'd rather be emotionally rich and spiritually full than be another empty suit with a maxed-out Amex and a fake smile. They're playing a different game, one where peace is the prize, not the product. They don't want to be envied. They want to be free. And that freedom comes from restraint, from knowing when to say enough, from not needing to prove success with price tags. To them, the man who needs luxury to feel alive is already spiritually bankrupt, and the man who can sit in silence, debt-free, drama-free, and still feel whole, that's real wealth. That's the Sigma way. Number 6, they know most people aren't living. They're performing. Sigma males know the harsh truth most people avoid. The modern world has turned life into one giant stage play, and almost everyone's auditioning. For approval, for relevance, for attention, but not for authenticity. Overspending for the average person isn't about joy or function, it's about performance. It's about curating a version of life that looks good, even if it feels hollow. Sigma males don't just reject that idea, they walk the other way like it's radioactive. They see people waking up every day, not to live but to perform. The car they drive, the clothes they wear, the restaurants they go to. It's not about preference, it's about perception. It's all designed to send a message to others. I'm doing well, I matter, I'm relevant. But deep down, a lot of those same people are stressed, drowning in debt, and quietly miserable. Sigmas don't participate in that circus. They're too aware, too grounded, and frankly too uninterested in playing roles written by society. To a Sigma, there's nothing more exhausting than pretending. And overspending is just another form of pretending. Pretending you've made it, pretending you're happy, pretending your life is more put together than it actually is. That's why Sigmas live below their means. It's not just financial strategy, it's psychological freedom. They're not trying to look like anything. They'd rather be solid in private than impressive in public. They also understand that the economy thrives on your insecurity. You're constantly being sold the idea that you're not enough. Unless you buy this, wear that, eat here, or drive that. Sigmas opt out. They know the system wants them to chase symbols. Instead, they chase sovereignty. While others use money to impress strangers, Sigmas use it to buy back time, energy, and peace of mind. They don't need to perform because they're not looking for an audience. They're building a life that doesn't need applause. And that's exactly what makes them so damn unshakable. In a world full of actors, they're one of the few living unrehearsed, and they sleep better because of it. Number 7, overspending makes you predictable, and Sigma males are not. People who overspend wear their weaknesses on their sleeves. They're easy to read, easy to manipulate, and even easier to control. Dangle luxury in front of them, and they'll bite. Threaten to take it away, and they'll fold. Sigma males see this pattern and stay the hell away from it. They know that when your lifestyle owns you, so does anyone who can shake it. That's not power. That's a leash. And Sigmas don't wear leashes. Overspending makes you predictable because it reveals exactly what you crave. Status, validation, approval, envy. And once people know what you crave, they know how to control you. Employers know you won't quit because your lifestyle needs that paycheck. Banks know you'll stay quiet because you're buried in credit. Fake friends know you'll keep playing along because you're terrified of slipping in their social ladder. Sigma males find that kind of predictability dangerous. It's like walking around with your pressure points exposed. So they do the opposite. They stay financially light, mobile, and hard to pin down. You can't threaten a man who doesn't need your approval. You can't control someone who isn't tied to a lifestyle that requires constant performance. Sigmas don't make purchases to feel something. They make moves that build leverage. That's why they don't live above their means. Because every unnecessary expense is a potential chokehold later. And they've seen too many men get strangled by their own image. They operate with stealth. You don't know what they're planning, what they're worth, or how easily they can walk away. That's what makes them unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Overspending weakens your position. It limits your options. It keeps you stuck in cycles where one misstep means collapse. Sigmas refuse to live that close to the edge for the sake of being seen. To them, freedom means no one has a handle on you, and that includes your finances. They'd rather drive a cheap car and own their choices than drive a luxury car and be someone else's puppet. Predictable people can be played. Sigma males would rather be invisible than predictable, because in a world built on manipulation, unpredictability is the ultimate armor. Number 8. They understand real power is quiet and funded. Sigma males have cracked the code. Power that has to announce itself isn't real power at all. It's just noise covering weakness. They've seen it everywhere. The loud dresser who's broke by Friday. The loud talker who can't pay rent without a side hustle. The guy who flashes everything but owns nothing. It's all performance. And Sigmas don't perform. They build. They understand that real power moves in silence because it doesn't need recognition. It's funded. It's self-contained. It's not trying to impress. It's positioning itself. Sigma males don't live to be noticed. They live to be untouchable. That's why they don't care if you think they're low-key or not flashy enough. What you don't see is the cash they've stacked, the exits they've prepared, the investments they've made while everyone else was trying to go viral. They know a man who has to show he's powerful is usually just trying to feel powerful. And that's dangerous, because when your confidence is tied to visibility, you'll spend recklessly to keep it alive. Sigmas avoid that trap like it's contagious. Their confidence comes from what they've built in silence. They don't need applause to validate it. They don't need attention to fuel it. They just keep stacking cash, assets, skills, options, all behind the scenes. They don't broadcast every win. They don't announce every move. Not because they're hiding, but because they don't need to prove a damn thing. Their life isn't for show. It's for strategy. They understand that flashy living is expensive, not just in money, but in freedom. Every time you show more than you own, you become easier to read, easier to manipulate, easier to target. Sigmas prefer to be underestimated, even ignored. It gives them an advantage. While others are burning cash for clout, they're building empires with no audience. When things fall apart, the loud ones scramble. But the Sigmas? They move like they already saw it coming. Because they weren't focused on being seen. They were focused on being ready. In their world, the real flex is this. You never saw it coming. And they never needed you to. Number 9. They don't need to escape their lives on the weekend. Sigma males don't live for Friday because they don't feel dead Monday through Thursday. They've designed their lives in a way that doesn't require constant escape. They're not counting down to the weekend like it's some kind of jailbreak. You won't catch them saying TGIF with dead eyes and a coffee addiction. Why? Because they never built a life they hate just to afford moments they enjoy. They're not the type to grind themselves into dust all year just to splurge on a 2-week vacation that gets posted all over social media as proof of happiness. Sigma males know that kind of life is just a dressed-up trap, working yourself miserable, only to afford tiny doses of relief that you have to recover from before going back to the same prison. They're not interested in that loop. They'd rather build freedom into their daily life than numb themselves with occasional luxury. When they spend, it's not to escape. It's to enhance. They don't need overpriced beach resorts to feel peace. Their peace is in the choices they've earned. They've created routines, habits, and incomes that don't require an off switch. So while others burn out and run to the nearest travel agent, Sigmas are sipping coffee slowly on a Wednesday, doing meaningful work they chose, not suffering under a lifestyle they accidentally financed. And let's be real. A lot of people don't want vacations. They want relief from a life that's eating them alive. But instead of changing the life, they just slap a travel filter on top of it. Sigma males don't need filters. They don't need distractions. They build slow, intentional lives that are actually worth waking up to. Their version of success isn't about showing off how far they can get from their life. It's about having the freedom to stay exactly where they are and love it. That's the real flex. Not escaping, not numbing, not running, just existing on their own terms every single day. No countdowns, no burnouts, no desperate weekends, just steady, self-made peace that doesn't need a passport or a rooftop selfie to feel alive. Number 10. They see luxury as a trap, not a reward. To the average person, luxury is the goal, the prize for surviving the grind. It's the shiny finish line everyone's racing toward. But Sigma males don't see it that way. To them, luxury isn't a reward. It's a baited hook. It lures you in with comfort, then quietly chains you to expectations you can't shake. That new car, that watch, that designer lifestyle. It comes with unspoken rules. Keep this up or lose status. And Sigma males want no part of that pressure masquerading as prestige. They've watched people upgrade their lives into cages. The more luxurious their surroundings, the more frantic their hustle becomes, not to grow, but just to maintain the image. The payments get bigger, the upkeep gets crazier, and the fear of losing it all starts creeping in. Luxury doesn't free most people, it owns them. And Sigma males don't get owned. They're not impressed by velvet ropes or champagne brunches. They know what those things really are. Distractions. If you need silk sheets to sleep well or 5-star resorts to feel joy, you've already lost your inner compass. Sigma males are interested in freedom, not fluff. And luxury, in most cases, comes with a leash that tightens the more you try to show off. It's not that they hate nice things. They just refuse to need them. The moment something becomes essential to your happiness or self-worth, it has power over you. Sigmas don't give power to objects, labels, or lifestyles. They give it to principles, discipline, and autonomy. And here's the brutal truth. For many, luxury is just a beautifully packaged form of insecurity. I need this to feel like I've made it. I need that so people will respect me. Sigmas see right through that. They don't chase symbols because they're too busy chasing sovereignty. They measure success in how easily they can walk away, not how loudly they can arrive. So while the world treats luxury like a destination, Sigma males treat it like a detour. If it fits the mission, fine. If it complicates the mission, cut it. No attachments, no labels, no leashes, just freedom, the rarest luxury of all. Number 11. They've weaponized frugality as a strategy, not a struggle. Sigma males don't live frugally because they have to. They do it because it gives them leverage. They've turned frugality into a weapon, not a wound. While others associate modest living with lack, Sigmas see it as precision. They aren't cutting back to survive. They're cutting back to maneuver. Every dollar they don't spend recklessly is a dollar that gives them more options, more control, more independence. And in their world, options are everything. They're not playing defense. They're playing chess. Controlled spending means they're not handcuffed to toxic jobs, high-stress bosses, or social circles they secretly resent. They don't need to suck up to anyone because they're not financially desperate. That's not minimalism. That's calculated freedom. Their restraint isn't about fear. It's about keeping the power in their own hands. You won't catch them sweating over not having the latest gadget or outfit. They know that kind of urgency is artificially manufactured by marketers whose job is to make you feel behind. Sigma males don't feel behind because they've opted out of the race entirely. They don't need to catch up when they've already stepped off the hamster wheel. Every time they choose simplicity over spectacle, they're buying something more valuable than status. They're buying mobility. Their frugality funds their ability to act without begging for permission. Want to quit a job tomorrow? They can. Want to move cities next week? Done. Want to invest in an idea without asking for handouts? Already in motion. That's not living small, that's living smart. Because Sigma males don't chase money. They attract it by being in positions where they don't have to compromise for it. And here's what most people miss. The man who can live well on less is invincible. He can't be bribed with shiny toys or pressured with fear of loss. Sigma males have trained themselves to be immune to financial seduction. Their money doesn't control them. They control their money. Frugality to them is a tactic. Not a lifestyle of scarcity, but a calculated refusal to be trapped by excess. And that's why, in the long game, they don't just survive, they dominate. Number 12. Their money doesn't go to Instagram. It goes to war chests. Sigma males don't treat money like a trophy. They treat it like a tool for warfare. Every dollar they earn has a job, a purpose, a mission. It's either building, defending, or positioning them to win. While most people spend their cash trying to impress strangers on Instagram, Sigmas are silently funding their independence, one strategic move at a time. They don't care about likes, they care about leverage. To them, money isn't something to flaunt, it's something to deploy. Each cent is like a trained soldier, either protecting their peace, multiplying behind the scenes, or standing guard in case life throws a punch. They don't spend to feel good for the moment. They spend to gain power that lasts. And when it comes to flashy purchases, that's what they call money gone rogue, undisciplined, useless, and probably working for someone else's benefit. That's why their finances look different. You won't see them blowing thousands on outfits just to fit into a narrative. You won't catch them financing lifestyles they secretly resent. Instead, they're stacking cash reserves, investing in assets, and buying back time. Because that's the only currency they truly care about. They think in terms of moves, not moods. And if the money isn't helping them outmaneuver the system, it's not getting spent. Sigma males know that in a world this unstable, flashy spending isn't just reckless, it's dangerous. Because when the storm hits, it's not the loudest guy who survives, it's the most prepared. That's why they treat every financial decision like a tactical operation. The goal isn't to be seen, it's to be ready, quiet, calculating, and cash-loaded while everyone else is broke but photogenic. So while others spend to impress the algorithm, Sigmas are funding war chests that buy silence, sovereignty, and exit plans. They're not just playing the money game, they're rewriting the rules. And the first rule in their world, never waste a soldier on vanity. In a world addicted to showing off and drowning in debt to do it, Sigma males move differently and intentionally. They're not impressed by status symbols, loud lifestyles, or financial flexing. They've seen what lies behind the curtain, the desperation, the debt, the silent anxiety of trying to look successful while secretly unraveling. And they want no part of that illusion. For them, living within their means isn't a lack of ambition. It's the ultimate power play. It's how they stay free, unpredictable, and unfuckwithable. While the world sells luxury as success, they recognize it as a leash. While others spend for applause, they save for control. And while most are chasing validation, Sigmas are stacking leverage. Quietly, patiently, and with surgical focus. They don't need to escape their lives because they've built one they actually enjoy. They don't need to prove their worth through brands because their peace is already priceless. They don't perform, they position, and most of all, they don't overspend, because they know that real wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about never having to beg, borrow, or explain. So while the flashy world burns itself out trying to impress strangers, the Sigma male builds in silence, financially light, strategically armed, and always 5 steps ahead, not broke, Not flashy, just free, and that's the real flex. If this hit different, you already know what to do. Like the video to show some love, drop a comment to let us know which point shook you the most, and share this with someone who's one luxury purchase away from disaster. And if you're about that Sigma mindset, smart, strategic, and unapologetically free, then subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss when we drop truth like this. No fluff, no filters, just real talk for real one. Stay sharp, stay sovereign, and I'll see you in the next one.